The president made very clear exactly what's going on here in those remarks that he had yesterday. There's a lot of things going on in the world right now. We got a $40 trillion national debt right now. We got midterms 11 weeks away. You got his poll numbers at historic lows. We got Iran dismissing a ceasefire. The president spent 30 minutes touring reporters around his new helipad. And when he was there doing it, he said the quiet part out loud. He said, "This will be here long after we are gone." This is what it is for the president of the United States, Donald Trump. His focus is not on you or me or the next person. He wants to know where Donald Trump is going to be in the history books and how we're going to remember him. You got the Truman balcony. You know you're going to have the Trump ballroom if this thing gets built as it appears to be happening right now. Because no matter your opinion of it, that's the way that it's going to be remembered going forward. And I was trying to keep track of all the different places where he's trying to put his name on things.
Good luck.
Dulles, Penn Station. You got the Commanders Stadium here in Washington, right? He asked them. He said, "I want that to be named after me as well." You got the Institute of Peace. You got the National Parks Pass. Remember that? If you wanted to go see all the national parks this summer with your family, you'd have his face on it. You got the passports now with Donald Trump's face on it as well. The point is he wants to be everywhere at all times. And that's where the focus is, very much on that and very little, I think, on the issues that, frankly, the people around him and Republicans who are on tickets this fall worried about, which is on the issues of American people and affordability.
I was in Ohio over the last couple of days for a quick work trip. And
Eugene is doing I will have to promote him. He's doing a Black Voter series that's coming out in September. Yeah. So stay tuned, folks.
Yes, that's a deep tease. But, I was talking to Black voters there, Black men, young Black men specifically. And we were talking about the economy. And, I'm asking them, the gas prices are high. And who do you blame? And they blame Trump. But also multiple of them brought up the gold. They brought up the things that Trump isn't focused on. And not in an angry way, because these are also voters who said they didn't pay a lot of attention to politics. They brought it up in a way where they're just confused. They were like, there's gold all over the place. The guy points up the guy at $392. I was like,
I'll tell you, I was in the Oval Office not too many months ago. The president was yelling at me. That's not the first time that had happened. And in those moments, people say, "Hey, what are you doing in those moments? Why aren't you just shouting back?" In that moment, and it went on for quite a while. This was when the South African president was visiting. He extended his tirade. The president said me for like 5 or 6 minutes. I just took it all in and just looked at all the gold that was in there. And boy, it looks different than it did when you were serving in that White House as well. But what strikes me as we talk about this president right now, we've talked about the topic of affordability. We've talked about where his real focus is, broadly speaking, is that as we look toward the campaign, as we go forward, he's not. It doesn't shift. It's not like anyone can change his opinion on this. This is who he is through and through. And what strikes me is in the first term, the focus when you would talk to Trump voters, and I stay in touch with a lot of people I met throughout the course of the campaign, and when we travel with the president, they would say, we like the things he's doing. We don't like the things he is saying, right? They didn't like the tweets. Now it's on X. They didn't like, now it's on True Social. Then it was on Twitter. This time around, when I revisit with those people, they like his policies broadly. They like what he's doing to crack down on immigration in their view, Trump voters. They don't like the things he's doing as it relates to the ballroom, the stuff around the building, the blowing up the Rose Garden. They're like, why is he putting energy and focus on that? Much the same way they used to be furious that he was spending energy and focus on all these small topics on Truth Social and elsewhere.
And if you go back to 2020, right, and all these years since, he says it was the best the economy's ever been. If it wasn't for the pandemic, right?
It was a good
shift
economy.
all of the blame away.
He was benefiting from the work that President Obama did, in my humble opinion. He got a good economy, and then they miffed it up.
And then this is the part where he gets frustrated by these outside factors. And let's just play some of the sound. You said that sort of this has been his message here, him dismissing the idea that affordability is an issue in America.
There's this fake narrative that the Democrats talk about, affordability. They just say the word. It doesn't mean anything to anybody.
They have a new word. They always have a hoax. The new word is affordability.
The word that they use is a hoax, and because they're the ones that caused the problem. So when they use the word affordability, they shouldn't be using that word.
The fake news is screaming at me, what about affordability? They used the word, first time I heard it, it was a word, made up by the Democrats. Affordability. They said, affordability.
Affordability. At some point, is he forced by Senate and House candidates to say? Is there anybody that's going to say, we need you to change your tune?
75 days before Election Day.
Darlene
How long
Graham.
you been doing this?
Darlene Graham. Okay.
So
who is
you be at the White House more than all of us. You know the answers now.
Who is there going to be any chance? Darlene Graham, he's going to be rallying with in South Carolina tomorrow. Is there any chance somebody says, Mr. President, could you just, help us out this little bit?
You know what struck me, Byron Donalds? On State of Play, we talked to Democrats and Republicans, spoke to Byron Donalds, likely to be the next governor of the state of Florida if he's able to win moving ahead this fall. In his remarks after he won that primary, he didn't mention Donald Trump's name one time. 0 times.
Donald Trump is at 32% approval rating.
He mentioned affordability plenty of times. So Donald Trump could say affordability is a made-up thing and not a real thing, but you better believe all these Republicans who are running on a ballot that he's not going to be on the top of this time realize that's what people are showing up to express their opinion on.